My name is Paul Harvey and this is Life, Passion and Business. We're about helping you explore, finding your passion for life and the work that you do. But it's so much more than that. It's about finding clues to the big life questions. What does it mean to be successful? What is the meaning of life? If you're looking for more, then join me on this journey where together we will discover through interviews, tools and tips how to live life full of meaning, passion and purpose. Hello and welcome to the podcast. My name is Paul Harvey and I am your host here. So today has been a little bit of a rest day as we finished the event Living Beyond the Change at 9:15 last night with a roundup event with me and my friend and event sponsor Suzy Beaumont. It was a great conversation we had. We looked at the event, we talked about where we were with it, but we also had some genuine conversation about what next, what people need to do next in order to reach the next level and also to actually thrive and survive and thrive in this COVID-19 environment we find ourselves in. So it is very well worth listening to. It was a Facebook Live, but I have stripped the audio out for you and it is now a podcast. So I hope you enjoy it. This is Suzy Beaumont, who is one of the sponsor for the event and a long-term friend. And it's just like, it's been fantastic to do this. And wow. Go on, I'm running out of steam. You say something.
Well, I was going to say, I had to just jump in there and say, I have to say well done to you because what a sterling effort. I actually feel like I suppose it's like a proud mum, even though I'm clearly not your mum. But it's like that thing of just seeing one of my students, like a proud teacher, one of my members of Change Your World Every Day, suddenly just taking massive action, taking massive steps out of their comfort zone and just going for it and creating something wonderful, which is going to have this massive ripple effect. It's planted seeds in loads of people, personally and professionally, for the people that were involved and for the people that have watched. It's just an incredible achievement and I'm just so proud of how you pulled it together. And I think, well, you should have a large gin tonight or a whiskey, whatever your tipple might be, and go to bed very early and catch up on your sleep. But yeah, how are you feeling? How does it feel that you've done 3 days of this incredible summit with amazing 25 speakers? Was it all in all?
I think it's 24 speakers, 25 if you count us two, maybe 26 actually. 25 if you count us two, because we're speakers too.
Totally. You've got stuff to say. So how do you feel?
I don't think I've fully landed yet. I think it's gonna take a day to hit me. I had a conversation with Liz today, one of the coaches, and she said you might need to take 3 days out. And I said, why is that? She said, because you're probably going to be dead after tomorrow.
You're going to crash. Yeah, you're going to be like, oh my god, how have I survived? You've just been running on adrenaline for the last.
It is interesting because I mean, my bedroom, we don't have curtains in our bedroom because we face a river, so I don't need to have.
Here am I.
There's no one to see. Anyway, you can look at me as you want. I don't care. But we face a river, so nothing in front of us at all. And so, but this time of year, there's no leaves on the trees, so the sun comes through at about 6 a.m. to my face, and I'm awake. But I've been waking up before 6 in the last few days. I literally have been driven by this project, and I've been waking up and going, yes, let's go. And it's like amazing. I don't think I've ever had that level of drive for something for quite a long time. And
that is
well past midnight. So I've been surviving on like 4 to 5 hours sleep a night for the last 5 or 6 days.
But isn't that incredible what passion does and purpose and meaning? The drive that it gives you to get out of your own way. Because I've had this journey as well, setting up Change Your World, that something bigger than myself, something that is going to have massive impact and is going to change people's lives. And that, forces you to get out of all your own comfort zones, all the, the things that you've been holding back and you don't want to do and you feel fearful or worried about what people think, or don't, you know, the confidence crisis. Suddenly, when you've got that purpose and that drive, you've got to get out of your own way and do it. And you've massively stepped out of lots of comfort zones and just went for it. And because you did it in such a quick succession, there was no time to procrastinate or I mean, I'm sure the inner critic did come in at times, but you know, you just had to do stuff. You just had to do it and get on with it. And yes, I'm sure you'll have the 3 days of total crash, but you're going to feel so proud of yourself. And it's going to be that thing when you do land, you're going to be thinking, I can do anything now. You know, I did that. I totally nailed that. And it's going to give you such a confidence boost.
There's a lot of excitement over it. Oh,
sorry.
What's that about? Am I getting feedback? There's a lot of excitement over it in terms of doing it for me. And it was like the initial reach out to different people to ask if they would be on it. I got a lot of positives and saying, yes, let's do this. And then it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It kind of started snowballing. And I put messages out to people who I didn't think would come in. I put a message out to Shari. I know Shari was busy. I mean, Shari is in New York. Mm-hmm. And to give you some context, in New York, they're in curfew. They have to be in their houses by 8:30 at night.
All right. Wow.
And they can only go out one time per day. It's very strict over there. They have really got serious stuff going on. And like, you know, we think COVID up in Scotland, we haven't noticed it that much. You know, Sherry gets daily notifications of people that have died. So I mean, she is really in the thick of it.
That's cheery.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so she's in the thick of it, and trying to upload hers because so many people at home. She couldn't. Her Wi-Fi wouldn't upload her recording, so she had to drive to her brother's house and toss a USB stick out the window to him so he could upload it from his house.
See, that just goes to show the lengths that people are going to. This is what you went through to make this event happen. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yesterday was the crunch day. I hadn't anticipated. There's a lot of learning involved. I was very pleased you went for videos because it took the pressure off doing lives like this. Otherwise, I'd have been on all day doing lives like this.
Yeah, of course.
But it's the other way around. When you do it this way, you obviously have to, you know, have this interaction because you do conferences. I've worked on your conference with you, and I know we were up and down all day working the conference, and trying to do it for 3 days would be really hard, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't think videoing it is better, but what I hadn't anticipated was the work level associated with that. I mean, Suzy contacted me on Sunday evening and said, "How are you getting on?" I go, "Well, YouTube is all my videos, so now I have not what to do."
Like, yeah, just try to upload them all. I was like, "Oh, are they going to be tomorrow?"
We found this. I mean, YouTube. I did find, but I mean, not going to detail stuff, but you know, I hadn't anticipated. There were lots of things I didn't anticipate, and I think that's what always comes up. And I think it would have been easier doing it with someone because then you have someone to bounce off. And doing the whole thing on my own, it didn't faze me doing it on my own, but it meant I have to make the decision. So yesterday I had a crunch point. One of the videos came in very large. I crunched it down and it wouldn't get any smaller. And every time I tried to upload it to YouTube, that YouTube's going, yeah, this is about an hour processing. So, you know, I mean, I got stuck. I was running out of time all day. And then eventually it was Jen's video that I just couldn't get it in time. So I had to put up those, you know, simple me saying, can't do it, sorry, come back tomorrow.
But, you know, that's the thing. You adapted, you know, you showed true resilience and just flexibility and just, you know, in adversity, just responding. So, you know, pushing your skill set and, you know, you just did it. And you survived. You put on this incredible event. I mean, you might sleep for the next 3 days, but
yeah. But now I think we need enough about me and this event, and then we start talking about the event itself and what we discovered. There's a couple of people have come in, and I can't see them on my system. Can you see them?
I can just say it says Facebook user. Okay. I don't know. I wonder if I go on. Hold on, let me go on my Change Your World, finding your page, and I can go on there and watch them there. Oh. Got you coming in. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves, people.
I'll let you look at that.
Let's ask the Facebook watchers. What were their highlights? I know my highlight, and I know I shouldn't pick a favorite, but she made me laugh so much. it was Gemma Ray. I was completely belly laughing at her. The honesty, the rawness, the language, I honestly, I loved her. She just was my favorite. And a whole full respect for, I don't know if anybody saw this, but if everybody saw it, but when she did a before and after video of how she was talking about how she did the 70-day challenge to do 45 minutes of exercise every day. I think it was twice a day she had to do.
Yeah.
And she was just talking about how she went out walking every day, and she was actually drinking something like 4 gallons of water or a gallon of water. I can't remember, but it was an enormous amount. And she got them mixed up with US gallon and UK gallon, and noticing that they were different. But when she she did the video, and she's so brave, just showing the difference, like the before and after, and showing her belly flap. I thought, well, hats off to you. You are one courageous lady, because I couldn't do that. But yeah, I just thought I thought she was hilarious. Yeah,
because I had her on the podcast.
But really great advice. It was just, that consistent action. And I really loved that thing that she said about making a promise to yourself and how that builds trust. And I just thought, God, you're so right. How often do we let ourselves down by saying, I'm going to do this, and then not following through? And then that tells your brain, well, you can't be trusted because you said you were going to do that thing and you didn't do it. But like she said, make it small so it's achievable, rather than, setting yourself up to fail and stuff. So I thought she had, great advice. I loved her energy, loved her humor, her wit, and just sheer braveness. So she was definitely my highlight. Somebody is saying Gemma was definitely very funny. I'm sorry, I don't know why. I can't see who it is joining it. Just says Sorry, say that again.
Something to do with permissions on the system. That unless they've given Be Live TV the permission to know who they are, it won't show it. Well, you have to look on Facebook.
You need to tell us who you are. So we've got somebody else saying, well done, great stuff. Well, I don't know if it's the same person. Might just be the same person. Way too many. Everybody was brilliant. Oh, that's fantastic. Agree about Gemma. She has since responded to me personally today with loads of extra stuff. Oh, that's really good. I mean, that's lovely. And I mean, that's what this event is really showcasing. It's you've created seeds, you brought these speakers together, they've created a seed and inspiration to get people started on their journey, whatever it is they want to change, what they want to do, what they want to create in this uncertain time. You've created that opportunity for them to do that, and it's like, well, what next? What are you going to do now? And just really sort of taking it forward from there. That's everything we talk about in Change Your World and Change Your World Every Day, the ripple effect, and taking action just each and sort of every day. So yeah, you have planted those seeds and got people on that journey. And I mean, obviously the people that were signing up to your event were already searching, they're already in the process, they want to create change in their lives and their health and well-being, or the professional lives. So they're already on that journey and active and looking for the people to support them to make that happen. So great to see. Yeah.
I managed to catch Jen's talk today.
Who's that? Who did you catch?
Jen.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Jennifer Mansfield, the one that was late, the one I had to come in later today. I managed to catch that one, and she mentioned a term that I hadn't heard before, and it was fawn. And she said when people are fawning or in fawn, they are accepting of, and they don't actually take action. They literally just accept what it is. And it happened. So they accept bad relationships. They literally just resign to it. And it was a really interesting. She said, and the danger is coming into this process, people will just resign to waiting for the government to save them or waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, rather than taking their own power back and their own control. Yeah, absolutely.
That talk is really valuable, of Jen's. I think it's a really valuable talk, and they're all really valuable. There's been gems in all of them. I mean, Cheryl watched them. My wife, my biggest fan next door.
She's like, whoa, she thinks you're a hero right now.
And critic, because she can say, that wasn't very good. That intro wasn't very good. You didn't do that one, did you now?
You're like, oh, well, the last time I spoke to her, she was your biggest fan and your hero. She was just worshipping you.
Yeah. I get when she says something, it does cut.
You're like, ouch.
Some of my editing and intros yesterday were less than perfect, I have to admit, but there we go.
Well, you had a lot going on. You were tired, as you say, it was a learning curve, and
yeah.
I mean, the thing for me, I was unable to catch up. I caught two of the speakers today. I watched all the speakers from Monday and Tuesday, but today I had to do some work. So I mean, that's the beauty of having the lifetime access. I'm able to, watch them at my leisure, and I will do that. So I'm just reading. It's Kev McLeod here. I've made the comments about great stuff and Gemma being funny. So it's Kev. So Kev is one of our conference attendees. He came along to my life coaching group when we were allowed to meet up in person, face to face. So that's great. It's great to see you here, Kev. Who else have we got? I lost my line connection for the last 10 minutes of Roy's presentation. Can you send me a copy of the link, please? I don't know who that's from, but it says a Facebook user. So
I need to deal with that thing. I've had a few people coming in about asking for access to links and this, that, and the other, and it leaves me in a difficult position. So let's explain that. So my agreement with the speakers is that they will deliver a talk for me, and it's free at the point of use. That's the point. It's free at the point of use, but it is their content. It's not my content to give away. It's theirs.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a bit of a problem because that was the agreement I had. It's free at the point of use. So you can look at the speaker and ask them if they're prepared to give it to you, or you can buy access to it. I think what I'm going to do is, because there are a few people this question, I'm going to put a different ticket up, because I understand that some people don't want the lifetime access or the day access. So I'm going to put a choice of 3 talks, and it'll be £30. It'll be £30, and you can buy any 3 talks across the 3 days. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I need to be fair to the speakers, and I need to be fair to people who are obviously buying a full ticket, and I need to be fair to everybody. So that's where I am at the moment.
So when the talks are scheduled, so if they were scheduled for 7:30 and they went on till 8, it's just if somebody's tuned in slightly late, they've not right. Okay.
Well, you get what basically the system.
That's like, the thing is, it's kind of like going to the cinema and arriving late.
It is. I was very generous with the system. Creates a window, and you're allowed to access that talk through that window for a period of time. And I was very generous. So some of the talks were like 30 minutes, and I put like a 60 or 90-minute window in it. So if you arrived late, you would still get to see the thing. That's why I made it generous in time. But this is technology, and it doesn't always work that way, and I can't help that. But as I said, I have to.
I tuned in late to some of them, and I was still able to watch the full thing because it did go over the.
I was generous in the time allocation around them. That's how I made it work. Because I was also conscious I didn't want people to miss them, but I'm also conscious that I have to respect the speakers' integrity and their content. It's their material, isn't it? It's not mine. It's theirs.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that does not take away from the success of the event and everything that you've done and achieved, and all the great speakers that you've brought together. So, it is really.
Going on from that, it's not just about this, is it? The whole thing about this idea about this was about, as you say, planting the seed, and us and people taking the information and doing something with it. Yeah, because let's be honest. Everything that's being said in these speakers has been said somewhere else before. On Monday's speakers, if the first 3 pretty much said the same thing to everybody. In fact, most days, each speaker said the same thing, but in their own way.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it will land differently to who you're listening to. Yeah.
But you could go and look on YouTube and do the same thing. You could go and get a self-help book and do the same thing. But the human condition is we don't do it.
No.
We all know how to lose weight.
We want our hands taken and guided.
We all know how to lose weight. We all know how to stay fit. We all know how to eat properly. Well, we should do. We all know all these things, but we don't do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'm
backing ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, I know the importance of good routines, and my routines are completely out the window this week. I've abandoned everything. I'm not exercised. I've eaten okay, but you know, it's like I've not slept properly. You know, why is it I've been prepared to like damage my body this week? Well, I haven't.
Yeah.
If I did this a lot, how would I cope if I was doing this regularly?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that is an important point to make, because when you do challenge yourself, you know, like we hear this concept of work-life balance and all the rest of it, and you know, whilst I think that's the long-term goal, I do think we need to accept that in order to do something that is out of our comfort zone or set something up for the first time, we have to get out of balance, and that is the reality. You know, well, I mean, I don't know anybody that's set up a business or set up a new venture, done something new for the first time, whether it's a sporting event, and it hasn't got out of balance, where something has had to be sacrificed until you get to the tipping point of it just leveling out and going, right, okay, now this is established. Now we can start setting back in some healthy rituals and routines.
Right.
You're hearing me come through. I'm just hearing one of the the comment says suggestions for the next one, maybe advertise the event earlier. Well, given that you decided to set it up in 15 days, that would be, you will do next time.
I'll give you my timeline for that, shall I? So my timeline was, I decided to do this on the 4th of April, and it took me a few days to get sorted. So by about the 7th or 8th, I was getting my ass into gear to get it happening and talking to people. And so you can see the timeline we're getting crunched. So I was around 2 weeks out. So I think I was probably about just over nearly 20 days out by the time I started getting people coming in. And I couldn't advertise it until I had speakers on the system. I couldn't actually start putting it out there until I had people on the system. So I had the background sorted out, but I couldn't put nothing on it. It was empty. And so I'm going, could you put your thing up? Could you put your thing up? And of course, these guys are busy. So it's like, so a lot of the stuff didn't actually get up until literally a week before, 7 or 8 days before it. So that was why we were in the position we were in. And I think we've done amazing. And then we've had over 300 people have come to the event.
Wow.
Over 7 days. And
that is incredible.
I'm delighted that 300 people have gone into this, because if we affect one of those people, we've done our job. But I know we've had some positive impacts, because Jane's speech on Monday about money muddles, that is a difficult subject. You know, sorry, we ain't getting out of this world alive, but not everybody realizes that one. You know, and you know, her talk is about preparation for that. It's about putting things in place, and it's tough. It's a difficult conversation for many people.
Well, I did 2 things as a result of that. I phoned my solicitor to update my will, and I had a conversation with Dave and said, listen, everything goes Pete Tong. I'm going to put it in a folder here. Everything will be in this drawer here.
So look at that. I can action out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually created the folder yet. I'll put it together, but I will. So.
But, you know, and Jane tells me someone reached out to her and they've got an appointment. So I mean, it's like someone is actually taking action because of that situation, because of that call. And that's priceless. That's, you know, for Jane, that's all it's about. She wants people to take action. Yeah. You know?
And I mean, people might not immediately take action right now, but the seed has been planted. And then, you know, like a week down the line, 2 months down the line, they'll be going, right, I need to deal with this now, you know? So, because I mean, that was the thing, you know, I contacted my solicitor and I was like, oh, really got to sort out who I want to leave. What have I got to leave? To, you know, what am I going to do with Change Your World if something happens to me? You know, but suddenly all these questions that I'm just like, I have no idea. So, yeah, I have to think about this. What hindsight is a great thing, and I think you did a fabulous You did fabulous. That's from Baja.
Yeah.
Hope I pronounced that right. And I run courses for Action for Happiness, and we start the initial promotion 5 weeks before the event. Okay, Action for Happiness, that's an amazing charity. I know Mark Williamson and her name, Vanessa King. They both spoke at 2 of my conferences that I did right in the beginning. So yes, great charity. But yeah, initial promotion 5 weeks. See, I started my promotion for Change Your World months in advance. So I was constantly at it, and it's a hard gig. So I mean, and people don't buy until the very last minute. So the thing is, it's all learning experience. You decided to turn this around, do it. You took massive action, and you've created this incredible event, and you have impacted on 300 plus more people. So
yes, absolutely, and they've come into the podcast. They'll hear the podcast now because they're on the podcast list. So it's lovely.
Well, there you go. There, if people can tune into your podcast to hear more of them as well, I think honestly, you're a marketing guy. Give your plumbing podcast.
One good thing about this is I've got myself 24 obvious podcast guests. I don't have to search for the next 6 months for podcast guests or next 3 months.
Brilliant, sorted.
But
no. What is your podcast called?
Life, Passion, and Business, as it happens.
There you go, Life, Passion, and Business. So you'll be able to hear.
When you listen to the speakers talk about various things, I mean, it's the same conversation that I have in the podcast. It's those 5 questions. Yeah. If everybody were to have an answer for these 5 questions, you'd have a good life. What are you passionate about? And I'm passionate about, what am I passionate about? I'll answer them for you. I am passionate about moving people forward. I've always been passionate about that. I've been passionate about helping people and seeing them grow or seeing them change. Funny enough, I'm not that passionate about seeing myself grow, but I'm very happy about seeing other people grow for some reason.
You're facilitating other people to do it.
Well, so. Yeah, that's it. So that's what I'm passionate about. What's my success model? Well, that needs to change a little bit, because my success model has always been being comfortable, having food on the table, having a nice home, and those bits and pieces. It's never actually been financial. I've never been that motivated by money.
Maybe your success model. Well, I'm the same. I mean, maybe your success model is seeing other people grow. That's what drives you and motivates you to get out of bed. Because, this was the thing. I remember when I set up Change Your World, and I would go initially to all these kind of business networking things and speak to business coaches, and they'd be like, okay, what's your product and how do you make money from it? And it used to drive me crazy. I'd be like, no, let's talk about how it's going to help people, how it's going to make a difference in the world, how it's going to serve the ripple effect. And then let's answer those questions, how it's serving the world. Then we'll talk about, my cat's going to make an appearance. Then we'll talk about how we can make money, because I just think we've got it the wrong way around. Okay, please don't show your backside. It's like, oh my God, live Facebook Aussie. Come on, say hello.
The cat knows.
Cat knows. This is Aussie, everybody, and this is the joys of working from home.
You wouldn't be in the office doing this, would you, really?
No. But
so
yeah.
Number 3 is, what's your contribution to the world? And my contribution is sharing stuff, and it's definitely the podcast. It's sharing things with the podcast with people, and I'm recognizing that there's a platform for me for speaking more, because I think that's I enjoy this process. I do enjoy presenting. Yeah. As I do say, I will promise I will put my blooper reel out, because it is worth looking at. But
I would love to see your bleeper reel from yesterday in particular. I think yesterday.
Yeah, you want to see that one, absolutely.
Probably the most stressful day.
Yeah. The language is a bit choice, but there we go. See what and my 4th question. So there was 3 questions there. Yeah. So contribution. 4th question is, what is the one question you want people to ask you? And I must admit, I'm struggling with this one at the moment, because it's actually quite good. It's like, what is the question you want someone to be asked? It stumped you as well a bit.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm thinking about, you know, when I go to, you know, a party or, you know, some networking thing or whatever, you know, and people ask that question, or what do you do or whatever, you know, I mean, I would rather, I like to ask people, oh, what, like, there's that question of, you know, what are you passionate about? What lights your soul? What makes your heart sing? What brings you joy? I love finding those things out about people, because you don't, it gives you, well, sometimes it can completely stump somebody, because when you ask somebody what brings you joy, often they're just on the carousel of life, just going at full speed, not really, never actually pausing to stop and think, what does bring me joy? You know, and it's like, actually, we'll go make that list of what brings you joy and do more of it, because that's what nourishes you and fills up your soul. And so I like to ask those questions of people.
But what do you want?
What's...
But you don't have to answer now. It's worth thinking about. And the final question is, what's the meaning of life for you? So those are the 5 questions that, and I think if we had an answer to those questions ourselves, you know who you are and you know what you want.
Well, the meaning of life for me is definitely about being your authentic self. And I actually, well, I said this in your podcast interview when you interviewed me. I remember reading a quote, and it said, life is a test and you only pass it when you're true to yourself. And I think developing yourself to the point where you're at peace with yourself, when you're content, when you're happy with who you are, when you're living a life that's in alignment with your values and nourishes you. I mean, I've literally just finished writing my newsletter, and one of the things that I heard a lot of the speakers saying, you know, like, to visualize, sit and think about what you want. And what this whole COVID situation has taught me is more about, what do I need? I'm asking the wrong question. Rather than what do I want, it's what do I need? And I'm realizing I need a lot less than I thought. Like you said about money there, you know, it's, for me, I need, like, I wrote on this list of things, and when I looked at the common theme through it, so, you know, I need love and connection, I need joy, I need fun, I need exercise, healthy food, I need nature, you know, these kind of things. And I recognized the common theme running through it was nourishment. And I was like, this is what I need to develop, because before COVID-19, I was not nourishing myself, despite, you know, running a health and well-being organization and encouraging everybody else to do it. But I wasn't. I was just flat out, just full on going yes, saying yes to lots of things, overcommitting myself and overwhelming myself. And, you know, whilst a lot of it left me feeling inspired and jazzed and, you know, loving what I was doing, but it was also making me feel depleted, because I was overcommitting myself. So nourishment for me is a big thing going forward. And then what I've been able to do is, because obviously a lot of my events for 2020 have been completely cancelled, and I'm just focusing on the online coaching group. It's been enabled me just to single focus on one thing and just really put all my energy into that. And I feel like finally I'm doing it really well for the first time, you know, whereas before I was just going, you know, just doing what I could. And it's like, well, no, now I'm starting to really focusing on the speakers and the coaches that I can bring in, the topics and stuff like that. And yeah, and I've got other things that I'm I am developing. So that's what I've learned from whole 6 weeks of COVID. Nourishment and hanging out with this guy.
I'm just had a communication from one of our group members saying, "Where are you? I can't see you guys." And I'm kind of like, yeah.
What are you saying? We've been yapping for the last half hour and nobody can see us.
We are on the Beyond the Change, Living Beyond the Change group. Go and have a look.
Elizabeth Day does a great podcast on how to, I can read that, how to fail. Oh, sorry, the writing classes. Yeah, Elizabeth Day does a great broadcast on how to fail. It's in fact how people grew because of failure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's isn't it? Failure is a massive part of that. One of the speakers did that today, saying about how important it was to fail, because
Yeah.
without deciding to fail, you can't decide to succeed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that's that great quote again, nothing is a mistake if you learn from it. So, and that's, failure. I mean, I hate that word because it has its negative kind of connotations, but it's not a failure if you've learned from it, if you've grown from the experience and kind of gone, okay, how could I have done that better? How could I have improved it? What else could I have done? Then, that's massive growth. So yeah, it's not a failure in my book. Definitely not. But yeah, I'll check out Elizabeth Day. Another thing to add to my library of books and my podcast to listen to and my content. So
we've been talking for a while, and I don't want to keep everybody all night. I mean, I could talk for ages because and you and I have this problem with talking because we can. So we have to kind of rein ourselves in a bit. So the thanks I have to give for this thing. I need to thank my family and my son, because I kicked him off his gaming machine for quite a few hours over the last few days, because his machine, the only machine that was powerful enough to do what needed to be done. So I
sure he'll forgive you.
So Keelan Harvey, I have a lot of appreciation for you at the moment and your gaming machine. So that was fantastic. and Cheryl Harvey for the positive feedback and everything else. It was fantastic to have my family around me doing this.
Yeah.
And of course everyone that came and made it possible. Suzy made it possible on some level because she's coming in and doing the lives with me and supporting me in terms of with Change Your World. And all of the speakers, and I'm not going to list them all here because the danger is I'll miss one, and I haven't got a list.
I know.
You
all know who you are.
I'm going to put a list. I'm going to put a proper thank you in the group here, and thank them in other ways. I think I can't thank them here because I'll just get it wrong. And none of my toys are charged up enough for me to look at the moment. So actually, I probably could look. Actually, saying that, I probably could look, but what I wanted to say is that the question for you all to start to think about now is, what are you going to do with this?
Yes.
So, it's not, I know it's not free. It was free to the point of use. It wasn't free forever. It was free to the point of use. But every one of the speeches over the last 3 days has a value. So the first day is all about your money and your mindset. And if you looked at those talks again, there are amazing material in there about how to do this. Day 2 was all about health and fitness. Yes, you could go and find that information somewhere else if you wanted to, but it's all there for you, packaged up, those people. And today's all been about taking charge of your life and moving forward, supporting yourself the last 2 days and now actually turning that into something. Now, the question is, it could be given to you free, but would you do anything with it if it were free? The reality is, unless we actually put some money on the table, do something about something, we have to put some value into something to give it value so that we give it importance.
The thing is, though, I do think, you've got 3 days of speakers. There's 24, 25 speakers. And, it's impossible to implement all that information. And what the lifetime access will give you is a project to work on, to work on for the next 6 months to 12 months, however long or little it takes you. But because of the different areas, you can work on those areas and nail it, then move on to the next, So it's about starting a personal development practice. And that's, my big thing. My whole ethos is about doing something daily and doing, a self-worth practice and really going to just dedicating that time to yourself. And because you cannot retain all the information, even if you start glued to the speakers and watch every speaker, you can't take it all in, and you certainly can't implement it all. So this is like a gift to yourself to kind of go forward and go, right, this is Project Me 2020, the year of clear vision. Get clarity on what you want, where you want to go, and take control, because we're in this situation where there's a lot of uncertainty. So the only thing we have is to take do what we can take control of, and that is ourselves, and just, you know, the daily actions and what we do going forward, and think about what we want, what we need, you know, and make that a daily practice. So that's my advice anyway for your tuppence worth.
You know, people look at the situation we're in and say that it's a disaster, it's this, it's whatever. It just is. It's how you think about it is
how you respond to it.
What defines it. It's either a disaster or not a disaster. I mean, we have a mutual friend who is started a business making masks for people.
Oh yes, yeah.
And she's got more work than she knows what to do with.
I know.
Yeah, her other business went. She had no way of doing the other business, and she saw that I could do this for people. So she's making masks and she's selling more. She just has an endless supply. All right, it's a short-term business. She's just operated there, but she's found a niche. She's found an opportunity that will put food on their table, and she's providing something that people need.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, she's got all these amazing patterns and fabrics and she's creating all these lovely masks. I mean, she must have been delighted when Nicola Sturgeon announced yesterday that everyone in Scotland should be wearing face masks. She's like, yes.
No, advertising.
So but that's the thing, you know, it's just watching these kind of videos, these content of speakers, you know, that's where ideas spark. You know, when you put in these practices, a lot of them were saying just take pause, allow space in, allow creativity come, because that's when the ideas come. That's when you get the clarity about how to move forward in your situation. If you are having a challenging time, obviously still not cool. If you're having a challenging time, try to be professional. It's like
I'm waiting to see you come in your face now, and then let's just see you react to that.
It's gonna get put down in a minute. Not literally put down, obviously. Put down on the floor. Right, on that note. But yeah, no, massive well done to you, Paul. You've done a fantastic job, and yeah, I hope you feel very proud of yourself, and you will reflect on this moment as the start of something very exciting.
That's weird. Someone says they can't see the video. Isn't it strange, isn't it? I don't know what we're going on. So I can see the video. No, I know it's there. I know we're live. And so the Facebook group will stay open for a few weeks, and if people need it and use it, it will stay open. If it doesn't get used, it will get closed down at some stage. There will be more emails coming out from me about various bits and pieces about this thing, so I can draw your attentions and stuff. So you will be in touch with you. I will post I will post my blooper reel. I will post all of the speakers that I actually have interviewed. Do you want me to post yours as well? Do you want your interview up on here?
Yes, please. Yes. Okay. Why not?
I'll put you in so you can hear Suzy's story for real, all her Suzy's story, and yeah, it's a good one actually. I had a lot of good ones. They're all good podcasts. So I'll put those up there, and then we can have fun with that. And there was some. So I want to say that Suzy Beaumont runs a group called Change Your World Every Day. She's the mistress of the group. Doesn't coach in it. She brings coaches in, and then she kind of makes us all do our work, or tries to.
Exactly. Try to get everyone doing a weekly video to evaluate what they've learned. There's a little bit of resistance.
You don't have to do video, it's fine. But the point of it is the group is there to support you. And you know, I know that Suzy generally offered a 2-week trial period on that group if you want to try it. So you know, if you know, Living Beyond the Change stuff is not for you, that's fine. You know, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. It's fine. If you want something more ongoing, then I highly recommend Suzy's group. So you get 2 weeks free access into that group, and you can see and that is daily coaching, 8 o'clock every morning.
8 o'clock. We can watch it live.
It used to be 7.
It used to be 7. I've changed it because of the lockdown, and nobody was getting up at 7 anymore.
So it's 7 every morning, and it's like
8 a.m.
8 a.m. every morning. It's a 25-minute kind of conversation with the coach who will present various materials on various subjects. And it's been Roy Layton's been in that group, and Arthur Moore was in there. Alfie Moore was very, very bracing in the morning, I have to say, because she was so high energy. I'm awake.
She's a powerhouse. She's like, okay. But yeah, I mean, we have, at the moment, we've got over 35 coaches. We've covered over 40 topics. Friday is our first anniversary, our first birthday. So I'm super proud of it. Right, I'm going to get him out of the way. Yeah, and just the thing is, it's just seeing the members and the transformations that they've made. It's all the things, the progress that they're making because they have daily consistent coaching. So yes, if you do want to try it out, it's a 2-week free trial, and it's £1 a day. I've deliberately kept the price really low because I am, like I said in my earlier videos, I am super passionate about personal development because I do believe that is the key to changing the world. Because I think when we go to work on ourselves, we start to think better. When we think better, we make better choices. When we make better choices, we get better results. And that's when our world starts to change. So organically, if we can get enough people doing that, that's how we organically change the world in the process. So, and I just do not want, especially now when people are going through possibly financial challenges. I never want finances to be a barrier to limit somebody getting help and support to reach their true potential and go on to be what they can be. So £1 a day for $29.99 a month. That is all it is. So less than a Starbucks coffee. So if you're working from home now and you're not doing the Starbucks coffee, you can join the group.
I get you to put the link in underneath this video, Suzy, because I will never find it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll do that.
Okay, so that's great. So anyway, I think that's probably enough for us. I mean, I want to say a big thank you for everyone that came to the event and supported me with it. And I'm going to bask in this light for a few days, I have to admit. And I'll take the adoration that I can get over the next few days and just make sure my head stays a reasonable size. But
somebody has said, brilliant work, Paul. Great live. So pleased to have been part of the incredible event.
That's nice. Thank you very much. And that's what we will be looking for, is what feedback we need. What do we need to change? What could we do? So we'll do that. Anyway, I've got to stop talking because I'm actually into the groove and I probably could carry on talking, and we really would just be talking, wouldn't we, really, if I just carried on like this?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's it. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing journey, and I will see you in the group. I'm sure we'll be back in the group at some stage, but this event is now closed. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks again. Bye.
And that was Life, Passion and Business with Paul Harvey and my guest, Suzy Beaumont. So that's it for this week. If you want to discover anything about what we discussed, you can check out the lifepassionandbusiness.com page, or the Change Your World page, or the Living Beyond the Change page. They're all available for you, and there's lots of interesting content on there. So I hope to see you on the Facebook group or something. In the meantime, thank you for listening, and I will catch you later.